Hello and welcome back to Some Climbing News. Got a lot of big stuff that went on this week. Will Bosi getting another hard first ascent. Mad Rock announcing that they'll be absorbing tariff costs. A huge land removal that's happening in Arizona. And of course, Katie Lamb becoming the first woman to send V16 twice. All that and more in this latest episode of the show. So as always, sit back, relax for the next few minutes, like, subscribe, comment with your thoughts, and yeah, let's get going. And starting us off with Andrea Kuemin, who just this week sent her very first 8B/V13 boulder to Ataket in Sirevag, Norway. Sirevag? I don't know. Whatever. In case you might not remember, Andrea is a pretty freaking strong comp climber, having won bronze a few years back in the 2022 Meiringen Bouldering World Cup. She is currently on a year-long road trip with her boyfriend or husband, partner? I don't know. I don't know them, and honestly, who cares? It's David Fernenberg, and she has been on a just massive sending spree all over Europe. So if you don't follow her on Instagram, I highly recommend you check her out. It's got a ton of great blogs from Albarracin, Font, Sweden, lots of compression too. So if you enjoy compression boulders like I love compression climbs, it's a really good follow. Congrats to Andrea again for her first 8B. Links to her social media is in the description below as always. And then, I don't know why I didn't say something earlier, but Jamie Webb looks to be back in form and doing ridiculously rad high ball first ascents in Switzerland. He just got the FA of a climb he's called Death Grip, which is apparently a line he'd had his eye on for a while, but just hadn't really tried it because of how bad the landing is. And yeah, it doesn't look great. You can kind of see he had to do some serious construction work in these photos. Anyways, the boulder in question is apparently just behind one of the most famous boulders in the world. What that boulder could possibly be, though, is kind of a mystery because, well, he doesn't say which one it is. My guess is maybe it's behind Off the Wagon or something, but yeah, who knows? Jimmy's apparently been having a pretty tough year, just injury after injury stopping him and keeping him from climbing. So it's really good to see him back at it again, and hopefully we'll get a mellow video dropping soon. But hey, I mean, what do you guys think? Any thoughts on where you think this boulder could be? Let me know in the comments below. And then let's talk about Will Bosi, who is out there in Switzerland with Dave Graham and Giuliano Cameroni. Now, a few days ago, I mentioned that I was kind of excited about these three being together, since if we're talking about people who really know developing new boulders, I mean, Dave Graham and Giuliano have got to be up there on your short list of greats, which inevitably means that if you pair them with Will Bosi, a guy who seemingly can't, stop sending stuff, well, then you've got a recipe for awesomeness. And awesomeness has indeed been delivered, as Will Bosi has snagged the first ascent of Brain Rot 8C+/V16 in Magic Wood. Will doesn't seem particularly sure about the grade, saying he thinks it could actually be anywhere between 8B+ and 8C+, so we'll have to wait and see what consensus is formed. But in the meantime, if the grade does hold up, this would be the hardest boulder in Magic Wood. So that's kind of cool. Apparently this send and a slew of others will be part of a longer video that is being filmed and possibly edited as we speak. So I will, of course, keep you guys updated for when that drops because, well, I mean, who's not gonna wanna see that, right? And then let's talk about what's going on in Arizona. So just outside Phoenix, there is an area called Oak Flat, which is one of the biggest climbing destinations in that state, a place that boasts over 600 different boulders and routes. This place is under immediate threat as a foreign mining company called Resolution Copper plans to build one of the largest underground copper mines in North America directly under Oak Flat. Doing this would essentially mean the destruction of the entire natural area, essentially the creation of an immense crater nearly 2 miles wide and 1,000 feet deep, where all the boulders, trees, animals currently are. This decision would not only impact all of the hikers, highliners, and climbers that use the area for recreation on a daily basis, but perhaps more importantly, the San Carlos Apache tribe, which has used the area as a sacred site for conducting religious rituals like coming-of-age ceremonies, and where they gather water and medicinal plants. So not only would the building of this mine mean the destruction of sacred indigenous land, it would also be an environmental catastrophe projected to create 1.4 billion tons of toxic mining waste, which could potentially contaminate groundwater and threaten the diverse desert ecosystem that thrives in the area. So basically, the creation of this mine has been fought for and against for the last 20 years. Essentially, it comes down to a land swap that has just been approved by the federal government after an executive order was signed by Donald Trump back in March. Now, the government has issued a 60-day warning, essentially announcing the fact that this land swap is going to happen once those 60 days are up, at which point it will just be up to Resolution Copper to decide when they want to deem access to the area as unsafe and when they will, blow a giant hole in the middle of it. Now, there's still a little bit of hope left for Oak Flat. It's basically just up to the U.S. Supreme Court, who are currently considering a review of Apache Stronghold v. United States, which challenges the Forest Service's right to destroy sacred land in Oak Flat. So if the Supreme Court takes the case, it will at the very least delay this swap from occurring. However, if this case is dismissed, then we're looking at Oak Flat being transferred to Resolution Copper at some point in mid-June to mid-August, which means loss of sacred indigenous land, loss of climbing land, just terrible stuff overall. So as of this moment, the nonprofit group Apache Stronghold has filed an emergency motion in federal district court that has been scheduled for May 7th. I will absolutely be keeping everyone updated as the situation develops, and in the meantime, we'll be leaving a link to a petition in support of Apache Stronghold in the description, as well as links to their website, links to everything Access Fund is doing to try and help protect this area. But of course, if you have any more information you can give, anything I might have missed, please be sure to put that in the comments below. The more people we get on this, the better. And then switching gears to the comp scene real quick. IFSC Lead and Speed World Cup this weekend will be held in Bali. I mean, just look at that location. My God, on the one hand, it's beautiful. On the other, can you imagine climbing in that heat and humidity? That seems freaking awful. Just why? Why would we do this to ourselves? And speaking of doing this to ourselves, fellow Europeans, is anybody else kind of pissed that we're basically the only people in the entire world who don't get to watch any of these comps on YouTube? I don't understand. I have to see, what did we do to you? Did we do something wrong? I don't understand. Another freaking subscription? Just shoot me in the face, man. I'm freaking, goddamn. Jesus. Why? It's fine, whatever. It's fine. Here's the schedule. Speed climbing going on the whole day, Saturday starting at 9 a.m. in Bali, with the finals being held at 3 p.m. Lead climbing semis and finals for both men and women will be held all on the same day on Sunday. The same finals beginning at 10 a.m. and the men's finals as of 8:30 p.m. followed by the women's finals at 9:25. Do the math yourselves. These are all Bali times. Should have fun. It's not that hard. But also at the same time, good luck to anybody in Europe who doesn't have a freaking, Discovery Plus subscription, because stupid. Moving on to Mad Rock. Now, Mad Rock has announced on their website that they will not be raising prices as a result of incoming tariff increases that are set to hit the US and, let's be honest, probably the whole world in the coming months. Thanks for that. Essentially, deciding to let their profit margins take the tariff hit as opposed to their customers, which is not only pretty cool of them, but also not necessarily surprising. Mad Rock's always been pretty seriously committed to the idea that good gear should be affordable, so it's right on brand for them to do this. As far as how long they are going to be willing to take this hit for, Mad Rock has promised that they will not raise prices for the rest of the spring/summer season, and that they will be reassessing once fall/winter arrives. Presumably, they're banking on two things happening. The first is, if their competitors rise prices and they don't, no brainer for us, right? What am I gonna do? Spend 230 plus bucks for a pair of solutions or 160 for a pair of drones? This is no question, come on. And the other, Mad Rock's rubber is actually produced in the United States, so it seems they're hoping that they'll be able to get some sort of tariff cut for that. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens in the future for Mad Rock, if this is going to be sustainable and for how long, what will happen to the climbing shoe market in general, and honestly, I'd love to know your thoughts and predictions. Would you be won over by Mad Rock for something like this? Do you think it's a mistake? Let me know in the comments below. And then Katie Lamb has become the first ever woman to send V16 for the second time with her latest send of the Dark Side 8C Plus in Yosemite. Now, if you don't know why I just said that she's the first woman to climb 8C Plus twice, the reason is that a few years ago, Katie became the first woman to climb 8C Plus when she sent Box Therapy, a climb that was originally thought to be that grade, 8C Plus V16, until it was subsequently repeated and then downgraded by Brooke Rabatu and Sean Rabatu to 8C, which means, Brooke, if you're watching this, And overwhelming odds are that, you know, she isn't. But if you are, look at me, look at me. Just listen. Okay, you have a chance to do something hilarious. Just, you know, taking time off comps. This is your moment. Just please, quick trip to Yosemite, just for the memes. Even if you do agree it's 8C+, just do it. Just a little bit. It's fine. Look, no one's really gonna care. It's gonna be great. But now for real, this thing looks stupidly hard. Katie is insanely strong. I mean, her tick list is just ridiculous. I very much cannot imagine a world where Darkseid actually gets downgraded. It looks insane. I mean, good grief. Look at those slopers. They look awful. Just awful. She wrote a bunch about friction, which means I can only imagine she was slipping and sliding every which way on that thing. Now, if you can't wait to see what the rest of the boulder looks like, there's a pretty cool breakdown of Aiden Roberts' send, which goes into detail on all the holes that I definitely recommend you check out. Here you go. And also, can I recommend the episode with Katie on the Careless Talk Climbing podcast? It's also pretty great, and just a couple of friends shooting the shit, saying dumb stuff about climbing. Really recommend it. Congrats to Katie, solidifying her place in climbing history as one of the strongest, not just women, but climbers in the world. Future is very, very, very bright for her. But of course, that was some climbing news again, and as always, thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already done so. It helps me bring these updates to you, helps grow this channel, all that good stuff. Look out for the unionization video that will be dropping on Sunday, and in the meantime, go climb some stuff.